In my personal view, if there's more than one candidate opposing Zohran Mamdani by the time early voting starts on October 25th, we'd all better start getting used to saying Mayor Mamdani. There's a new poll out today that shows Mamdani trouncing a divided field. But if he faces a head-to-head matchup, he's got much lower odds against a unified opposition. And since the beginning of this race, the big question has been, where is Mamdani's ceiling? Most of his support in the general election is going to come from Democrats who also voted in the Democratic primary back in June, especially his base of young leftists and South Asian Muslims who have voted for the first time. In many cases, Mamdani's DSA volunteers registered them to vote. But if Mamdani has already activated nearly everyone in the city who's going to vote for him, then he could be near his ceiling. He might not have that much upside. It could be at around 45%, let's say, that he maxes out at. But that's going to mean that in order to defeat him, there can only be one opponent. So the candidates' order in the polls haven't changed a whole lot since the primary in June. And sure, polls could be wrong. They were wrong back in June, but they do point in the right direction. They're capturing trends, and there's just not much movement among the four major candidates. So despite having a record of success this year, particularly, Mayor Adams is just not probably going to cut it. He's polling at high single digits. So that's why we're seeing reports of him getting job offers to clear the field. And these offers have ranged from positions in DC, like in HUD, and also potentially the ambassadorship to Saudi Arabia. Now, it's going to be a lot harder for Adams to get a good job if he stays in a race and comes in fourth place as a sitting mayor and opens the door for Mamdani to win. If that happens, it's going to be his main legacy. So he's probably considering not only the job prospects, but how he wants to be remembered in history, right? He has a record of genuine accomplishments that he should want to defend, like the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity Plan, which is the most important change to the city's land use since 1961. So if Adams does drop out, that's going to start clearing the field for this head-to-head matchup in which Mamdani can lose. It's going to also put immense pressure on Curtis Sliwa to drop out and do likewise. Now, Curtis is well-intended. He served the city for decades and promoted public safety through the Guardian Angels. A lot of New Yorkers like Curtis. But the poll suggests that Andrew Cuomo simply has the best chances of beating Mamdani. And for all of Cuomo's baggage, he's still a Democrat. And this is a Democratic town. Pragmatic and conservative voters who are inclined to Sliwa or Adams, they're going to have doubts for voting for Cuomo, but they have to ask themselves, am I making the enemy of the good here? Sure, Cuomo lost in June, but we have to remember that the Democratic primary is only open to registered Democrats. The general election is going to be open to 1.8 million or so voters who are Republicans, who are unaffiliated with any party, and who are registered with minor parties. So today's poll shows that those voters are going to break heavily for Cuomo in a head-to-head matchup. Now, we're talking about a game of inches if it really does come down to Mamdani against Cuomo. And look, this race is a huge deal, not only for New York City and its future, but also for the country. Democratic socialism would become the leading political philosophy for the Democratic Party if Mamdani wins. So it's going to set up huge primary fights and infighting in the Democratic Party across the US should he win. We're in for more contentious left-wing versus establishment moderate politics in the future. But what is certain is that with Labor Day behind us, we're in the final sprint. Early voting is less than 7 weeks away. If the opposition to Mamdani does not consolidate and fast, he's going to cruise to victory in November.